Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and once again I'm joined by Russell Boyce and Colin Watt to look back on what was a rip-roaring, free-scoring, never-boring Glasgow Celtic. First of all, I'll come up to yourself, Colin. You're at the game. Talk us through that first half. Scintillating stuff.
You couldn't put it any better. As Anthony Haggerty puts it, rip-roaring, never boring, free-scoring, and that's the way the first half has been for Celtic so far. A really dominant performance, and it could have been another couple. But hopefully, as Natasha put out on Twitter just beforehand, Fran told the team at half-time to play as if they were 4-0 down last week. Let's hope it's the same again this time round. But yeah, really impressive. Just a shame there's no favours being given from the team across the city over at Petershill Park.
Did you expect anything from the team across the city, Boyce? I mean, they're up against a team who has dominated women's football in Scotland for over a decade.
I think Rangers still had a lot to play for, but I think it does, it feeds through if Celtic are in cruise control so early that, you're not going to get the goal that we're going for in second, and perhaps they took the foot off the gas. But in fairness, Glasgow City's a quality outfit. They were at home as well, so maybe it's no surprise. Rangers seem to have struggled against the big teams of late, so maybe it's not a surprise. But do you know what? We've done our bit, so I'm happy.
Absolutely. And we are going to start calling it Frannyball. Because obviously, the connotation is there. This is Frannyball. We've seen Lenny Ball. We've had enough of Lenny Ball. This is Frannyball. Now, Soph Scots makes the point that their keeper is tiny. That's something that's came in quite a few times during the analysis of the games. The goalkeepers do seem to struggle generally, and that may just be in this country. I don't know if it's the same overseas, but we will get a chance to see overseas opposition if all goes well as it is, and we're in the Champions League next season. Colin, how important is that for Celtic's progression under Fran Alonso?
Oh, it's absolutely massive. As you said, you're bringing some of the best players in the world to Celtic Park hopefully next season, and what will be the Champions League qualifier. Still going to be a difficult route to get into the group stage. I think the tournament's been completely reformatted for next season as well. And Celtic being the lower seeds because this will be their first time in Europe. But you've got to think that having those nights, hopefully at Celtic Park, will attract some good players as well. Hopefully be able to keep some of the players that we've got here, including one of the goal scorers, Anna Philby, scoring on what could have been her last performance in a Celtic jersey. She's just leaving Spurs at the end of the season. Maybe the enticement of the Champions League will keep her here next year.
We talk about enticement, Colin. Talk to us again. That's the first 45 minutes of live football, I believe, that you will have seen, would I say, since March last year when Griffiths scored a hat-trick and we beat St Mirren 5-0? Yeah,
and I still managed to miss the fifth goal because I went to leave early to beat the rush. So, yeah, I only saw 4 goals.
See this new breed of fans, Boyce, this new breed that leaves before the 90th minute. I've no time. I used to wait until 5 minutes after the full timer, so that's how real a fan I was, It's a different breed. It's a different breed these days. Leaving before the final whistle. Colin, what?
It just all depends on who's watching your car. If you've paid them enough. Maybe I hadn't paid them enough.
Perhaps. So talk to us about your experience of being in there, representing Axom for your first game in over a year.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a fantastic experience so far. Coming into the stadium, temperature checks and all that. That might be something that becomes regular as fans make their way back into the stadium next season. Again, it's quite eerie being in a sort of empty stadium, but we do have some fan representation from the players' families, and we've got other media outlets as well. So it's been a really interesting experience, and the quality of the performance that's been on offer really makes up for it. All it says is you're desperate to get back into the football, and hopefully this will be the first of many going forward next season, and we'll see crowds increase.
Now, did that stadium was that stadium once called the Shiesbreaks Chelsea Stadium? The one that you're in right now?
Beyond my years.
Seriously?
I always knew it as the Excelsior, but it's currently the Penny Cars Stadium.
The Penny Car. I'm sure it was the Shiesbreaks Chelsea because I've actually played on that park, believe it or not. I've been on that park wearing a football strip. Saying that I played is a bit of a stretch, but yes, I have played on that park, Russell Boyce. Some brilliant comments coming in. Gillian Gallagher, thanks for joining us. You're watching us on YouTube. Girls have done what was asked of them and more in that first half. Absolutely. I mean, basically for the last 3 halves, we've won 5-0 because we beat Forfar 10-0, 5 goals both sides of half time. We're up 5-0 at half time here. The big thing, I guess, people who maybe aren't watching it with any real interest, or maybe looking at some of these scores and thinking, it's the lack of competition, etc. But this is all down, Russell, to the fact that not all the teams in the league are professional. So we're actually up against a part-time team today, and it was the same against Forfar Farmington last week. We're up against teams who just don't have the same fitness levels, are not working as closely with the coaching staff, and the clubs don't have the same kind of financial muscle as the likes of Celtic, Rangers, Glasgow City.
Well, you've got to be fair as well, though. I think the number of changes Celtic made, obviously probably quite last minute as well, due to the COVID call-offs, as it turns out, was the reason for all the changes. Because when you went through the lineup in the last show, I thought, I've been watching a different team. I didn't recognise half the players on it, but that shows you the fitness levels not only of the first team, but they've stepped in today, and you wouldn't know the difference at all. As you say, it's the exact same as the last 2 halves we've played, 5-0 again. And I think that a lot of credit needs to go to the girls that don't have as much match time in their legs of late. And also, I think as well, see, when we first started covering the Celtic games, it was narrow wins, keeping it tight at the back. We've now shown another side to us recently when we had to as well, particularly the last game that we had to get. Really, we were looking for 9 or 10 goals. We actually achieved that, which was, went against all the sort of nitty-gritty wins that we'd done, that we dug deep on. And now we're free scoring, all over again. You're so tempted to say that, aren't you? That's Tony Haggerty phrase there. But I think it shows that obviously he knows how to mix it both ways. He knows how to dig deep. He knows how to set up a team defensively. He knows how to go for it as well, even with the number of changes he's made. All aboard that Fran Alonso bus.
Some of the players that I'm certainly... On you go, Colin.
I was going to say his enthusiasm, just as the teams are about to make their way for the second half, Fran's enthusiasm on the touchline is endeavouring. You can see it even as the game starts to get into the stage where you're thinking the 3 points might already be in the bag. He's celebrating every goal as if it's a last-minute winner. And the passion and the commitment that he shows to the team, he walks up and down that touchline. He must have had his 10,000 steps in the first half. It's really, really impressive.
It's Frannyball. That's exactly what it is. Frannyball. Now, we've got Strange Love, the doctor, coming in. Yet again, the girls are showing up. Nice shape, concentration, application. I'm loving this. This is what I mean. There is a real style. There's an energy to the Celtic side. And I think that even the commentators really haven't given the credit to young Tegan Bowie that she deserves. I mean, 2 goals that she set up, the third and the fourth. She was outstanding. Her running, strong runner, boys. Have been very impressed with her in the first half.
Yeah, there was one wee moment as well, aside from the obvious, where she took the ball up to the corner. Anyone else would think it would run out. Beautiful bit of skill to keep it in, and then takes her man on again, going back the way. I just thought she's having a great game, and confidence obviously soaring as well. But I think as well, just to touch on what Colin said, all the steps, all the running about for each goal and all that, do you know what it all comes down to as well? It's real. It is real. He's not faking it. It is completely real. And it's not just going tick boxing exercise. He's going, look at his passion, look at his celebrations. It's completely from the heart. And I think that is what is obviously so endearing about him. Not endeavouring, Colin, endearing.
Yep, we like making up words on a Celtic state of mind. The latest word is Frannyball. Then that's what we are playing today, and that's why we've both boys have got a white jacket. The next time you're at the game, Colin, we'll need to get you one as well. We'll also get you a mic with a wee furry bit at the end of it so that you can give us the best audio possible. What's happening at the game? Are they back on the park? Are they ready to kick off?
They're just about to kick off the second half, so I will leave you here to catch up on, I believe BBC's a couple of minutes behind.
It looks like it. Right, okay, we'll see you at full time, Colin. Enjoy the second half.
Yep.
So we're going for 10 in a row, the only 10 in a row we're going to see this season, unfortunately. Boise in the second half, and it could be 4 halves in a row that Franny has scored 5 goals. Some of the players that will be missing, I was just looking at some of the recent lineups. We've got Kiva Keenan, always impressive.
Yep.
Jodie Bartle. Jodie's actually spoken to Axom as part of one of the press conferences. She's a Londoner, isn't she? She's up from West Ham. That's her team. And Mariah Lee, as well as Jacinta, who was involved in modelling the new third kit that was released during the week. And it's just, these are players that we've come to become familiar with over the last few months.
I'm actually ringing off names now as well, and I think that's brilliant. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying to say. I just think if he can make that many changes at such short notice, and yet they're playing the exact same way as what they have, the last match, with the exact same purpose, the exact same style of play. I just think that shows you that each member of that squad is fully engaged and on side with whatever the project or the long-term vision that Fran Alonso's putting across, and the unity is just fantastic. And you just can't see them doing anything but repeating the feat again. I think we are going to get another 5 this second half. You know that?
Well, you're going to grind down a side, Russell, whose fitness won't be at the same level. Simple as that. If you're playing a part-time side, it's difficult for them to get that cohesion. And I think that in the second half, it will be a kind of farewell for this season from the Celtic women's team, who have done so well. Strangelove, the doctor, comes in to point out that Ewan's been good, so is Robertson, who is a class midfielder. The wee thing that I always remember about Sarah Ewans is the fact that she gave us one of them. And I joked at the time that it was because Boyce had been giving her a hard time the previous week. We have been informed from the media team at Celtic that the Celtic women's team members love the coverage that has been given to them by the Celtic podcast. They are tuning in. They're tuning in. So they're loving the fact that we're able to discuss them. But I think what we need to focus on just now is that for the first time ever, Celtic women's team are going to qualify for the Champions League for the first time. Virtue of the season that they've just had and on today's display. And I think next season, and again, it's not because we're doing this because we think we need to do it, we're doing it because we're enjoying it, Russell. How good will it be to actually go and see them? Because the games will be at Celtic Park next season, the Champions League games.
That will be amazing. Sign me up for that 100%. I would go there, pay my ticket money, eat every single time. I really look forward to that. I think as well, see the players they can now look to hopefully attract in the close season will be a step up from what they maybe could do just by turning professional initially. Whilst that would have been a good carrot to dangle, now when you're going full-time professional plus Champions League, wow. And especially with a team that's going to lose the league title on the final day that took the 14-in-a-row champions, a team that's been in the latter stages of the Champions League right to the wire already, with such a manager of calibre like Fran Alonso as well. I don't think he'll make it. I think he's an easy sell to players as well. You just put him front, left, and centre of why you're going to sign for Celtic, and hopefully Celtic back them with more investment as well on the back of their achievements. I think that's only right. The more you achieve, the more you should be getting invested in by the club, because the revenue stream for the women's team next season is going to increase, I think, tenfold by this Champions League story that's about to unfold next season, as well as the fact fans are going to be back in, and the fact we're on such a crest of a wave. Even the domestic games, you're going to see a huge upturn, I think, in numbers.
I hope so. I mean, I had made the suggestion when we were looking at the membership scheme that we speak about from time to time on Axom, Russell, that, make the games part of the season ticket, because a lot of people need the buy-in. They need to see it. They need to experience it before they're going to believe in it, Russell, and I think that we got that through a number of different circumstances this season, and I think that if other people get it, they will enjoy it. And one of the players I have enjoyed watching this season is Sarah Tiergaard, and Les Watts brings up the fact that he hopes to see more of her next season. I hope so too, but going back onto your Fran Alonso point, it's only a matter of time as well, because of their achievements, the other big European sides are bound to be looking at some of the star players and at Fran Alonso himself, Boycey.
Well, when I'm talking about investment, maybe that means that you need to start tying up contracts for guys like Fran Alonso. I mean, that asset is something that, whatever his salary is now, surely he's achieved target. I don't know how that all works, but you would like to think that he will be rewarded for accomplishing the target of Champions League football and actually putting us in a final day title battle, which in terms of okay, it might have went a bit flat because of the score in the other match, and fair enough. But the fact is, we took it to the last day against the odds. We weren't expected to take it the last day against a team that's about to win 14 in a row, and against a Rangers side that apparently had something along the lines of a £500,000 budget for the season, which was considerably higher than ours. So you've got to think, why is this happening? How do we keep a hold of this and this formula? And to me, he is the linchpin of all that. If that means better contracts, you do it to stave off that sort of interest.
Absolutely. Now the second half has just kicked off, Russell, so we'll get back to the action and we'll see everybody at full time. Thanks for joining us on A Celtic State of Mind.